Sanwo-Olu. The national anthem. Be seated. Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, Your Excellency, President of the Senate, Dr. Ahmad Lawan, Your Excellency, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, the representative of the Chief Justice of the Federation, members of the National Assembly, Excellencies, governors here present, Your Excellency, the United Nations Deputy Secretary General, Mrs. Amina Mohammed, honorable ministers here present, the CBN Governor, heads of government and extra-ministerial departments, captains of industry here present, members of the diplomatic corps, and heads of international organizations, the Chief of Naval Staff, my lords, spiritual and temporal traditional rulers here present, media entrepreneurs who have come to grace the occasion, our chief host, President and Chief Executive of Dangote Industries Limited, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, members of the Fourth Estate of the realm, stakeholders, friends, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eugenia Abu. I'm a multimedia strategy expert, broadcaster, and writer, and I'm your guide today. What a glorious day it is for Nigeria and for Africa. A day such as this will remain in the annals of history for a very long time to come. Welcome to the Dangote Fertilizer Plant commissioning this 22nd day of March 2022. Dangote Fertilizer Plant is Africa's largest granulated urea fertilizer and complex, and it is built on 500 hectares of land in the trade zone area, free trade zone area in Lagos, Nigeria. It is established to produce 3 million metric tons per annum of urea fertilizer. Think food security, think farmers, think jobs, think value add. Today, the President, His Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari, has come to join us and help to commission and tour the fertilizer plants, but also tour the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemical Project, producing 650,000 barrels of crude per day, expected to meet 100% of the Nigerian requirement of liquid products, from diesel to kerosene and petroleum. I'm short in providing the requisite information on these gargantuan projects. There is a man who embodies entrepreneurship, who has love of country, love of continent, a man who puts his money where his mouth is, a man who, in spite of being extremely busy, has continued to spend time mentoring young people across Nigeria and the continent. Welcome, please, the President, Chief Executive, Dangote Industries Limited, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, for his welcome address. Encourage him as he comes forward.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, the Senate President, the Right Honorable Speaker, State Governors that are here with us, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Honorable Ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome you all to the commissioning of our 3 million tons of urea per annum Dangote fertilizer plant, sited at Dangote Industries Free Zone, Igbejuleki. The fertilizer complex, which occupies 500 hectares, is built at the cost of $2.5 billion. I would like to express our immense gratitude to our special guest of honor, His Excellency Muhammad Buhari, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for his sustained support and encouragement, and for honoring our invitation to come in person to commission the plant despite his exercises of his exalted office. We are also grateful to our chief host and Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, whose administration has actually provided the enabling environment that has made this project possible. The commissioning of this fertilizer plant is very historic. It marks the official opening of the largest granulated urea plant in Africa and also second largest in the world. The new plant will make Nigeria self-sufficient in fertilizer production with excess capacity to export to other African markets and the rest of the world. Our products have already reached African markets and some to the United States, Brazil, India, and Mexico. It is an ambitious developmental project which will drastically reduce the level of unemployment and youth restiveness in this country through generation of direct and indirect employment. Agriculture accounts for about 20% of Nigeria's GDP, and the country is a leading producer of various agricultural commodities. The sector has the potential of becoming the biggest source of income for our nation, providing employment and raw materials for industries. However, low fertilizer usage has been a major reason for low productivity in the sector. It is the common knowledge that non-availability of the product in quantity and quality rather than affordability is the primary constraint to use of fertilizer today. Our goal is to make fertilizer available in sufficient quantities and quality for our teeming farmers, assuring greater agricultural output. To help realize this potential, we are rolling out initiatives that will transform the agricultural sector, including extension services for all small and medium-scale farmers. We have also established well-equipped soil testing laboratories to ensure that the appropriate fertilizer blends are applied to specific soil and all crop types. This will boost productivity. It will enhance output across the nation. Dangote Fertilizer will partner with the key stakeholders in the industry, including Farmers Association, NPK blenders, NGO development partners, and state governments across Nigeria who are committed to a sustainable approach to improving soil quality and farm yields. Our continuous efforts to innovate, create value, and invest in Nigeria are born out of our firm belief in the vast economic potentials of our dear nation. This has also informed our desire to continue with our investment strategy with a focus on driving import substitution, ensuring that our increased local production to achieve self-sufficiency and even export excess production. Your Excellency, Mr. President, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this ceremony is the outcome of many years of collaboration and partnership with many institutions and individuals. Let me therefore extend a warm thank you to all those who have contributed to make this day possible and also a reality. May I recognize and appreciate the Central Bank of Nigeria and my dear friend Governor Godwin Emefiele for his uncommon support and encouragement. The CBN under his leadership has extended tremendous support, especially during some very difficult stages, ensuring the attainment of today's milestone. I also appreciate our partner ministers, the Honorable Minister of State Petroleum Resources, the Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, the Honorable Minister of Industries, Trade and Investment, the Honorable Minister of Transport, and the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, and their various agencies, especially the Nigerian Ports Authority, for their support. I must appreciate the immense cooperation and support we have received from the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. My amiable brother, Mr. Mele Kyari, the GMD of NNPC, has left no stone unturned to ensure the availability of natural gas, without which this milestone would never have been achieved. I would also like to remain grateful for his strong interventions to resolve problems on many critical occasions. We thank you all. I would also like to express my deep appreciation to the security agencies, in particular the Office of the National Security Advisor and the Nigerian Navy, for providing a safe and securing environment from the outset of this project. I wish to thank in a special way the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo, for his unflinching support in giving us security. We will always remain immensely grateful to the various local and foreign financial institutions, especially our Nigerian banks, for not only investing in us, but for the expertise and sensitivity they brought to bear to ensuring the viability and success execution of this great project. Professor Benedict Orama, the President and Chairman of the Board of Afrexim Bank, deserves our special thanks for his support and advice through all the stages of this venture. I commend the traditional rulers, the obas, and leaders of our host community and their people for providing a peaceful and conducive environment. We have developed a collaborative partnership with our various stakeholders in the communities to strengthen this mutual rewarding relationship. I cannot end this address without recognizing the many years of enthusiastic teamwork, labor, toil, and sweat of the management and staff of Dangote Group for their commitment to high performance, perseverance, and resilience. Your Excellency, Mr. President, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm humbled and highly honored by the presence of such eminent leaders gathered here to witness this commissioning. I wish to recognize and thank His Excellency, the Senate President, the Right Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, our esteemed Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, our state governors past and present, the Ashwaju of Nigeria, who is here with us, the honorable ministers and members of the diplomatic community, heads of public agencies, our revered royal fathers, and my friends from the private sector, last but not the least, my family. Finally, to each and every one of you, because it will be difficult to mention everybody's name, our guests, I am really delighted that you are able, despite the very short notice and your tight schedules, to join us in celebrating yet another Nigerian success story. May God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the man who has made today possible, the Chief Executive and President, Dangote Industries Limited, Alhaji Aliko Dangote. And when he said his family, I looked at his daughters. Hajia Maria, Hajia Halima are in the room with us. We thank you for being here. Another round of applause for them. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we shall now be bringing for your viewing pleasure a short video on the Dangote Fertilizer Complex. The sheer splendor and grandeur of it is absolutely gorgeous to look at. Please enjoy.
.500 hectares of land. Over 750,000 tons of sand fill. This massive expanse of land sits at Dangote Fertilizer. With the Nigerian population projected to rise to 262 million by 2030 and 398 million by 2050. Little wonder that Dangote Industries Limited, a true leader in the Nigerian business space, seized the initiative to actualize a vision where Nigeria will be self-sufficient to cater to its own agricultural consumption. So, the Dangote Industries Limited built the largest granulated urea fertilizer complex in Africa. This project, that will cost over $2.5 billion, consists of two 2,200 metric tons per day ammonia plants, two 4,000 metric tons per day urea plants, two 4,000 metric tons per day urea granulation plants, a captive power plant comprising of 3 steam turbine generators of 40 megawatts capacity each, a total of 120 megawatts, and 3 auxiliary boilers for 40 ATA steam generation of 200 TE capacity each. Beyond the energy of activity known as Lagos, a first of its kind was unraveling in Africa's most populous country, the movement of massive equipment for the Dangote Fertilizer Complex, a bold and audacious endeavor. At 2:57 p.m. the barge arrives Eko Bridge, covering a distance of less than 2 kilometers in 4 hours. An Abuja shuttle airplane would have made the journey 4 times over. Understanding that Nigeria would need about 5 to 7 million metric tons fertilizer per annum, and with the current levels at about 1.2 million metric tons per annum, the Dangote Fertilizer Complex will be producing 3 million metric tons per annum of urea fertilizer in just its phase 1. Fertilizers like NPK and DAP will be added in the next phases. From when the civil works began, it was obvious history was in the making. This gas will act as both feedstock and supply for the steam turbine generators.
It's not just selling fertilizer, but changing the face of agriculture, bringing in a green revolution and focusing on, which will help the country to get full security.
Given the fact that the fertilizer plant is in Nigeria, you can actually model specifically the needs of farmers depending on the crop. That way they get the right fertilizer, not the one they just bag in and sell. But for us, we're able to meet with the farmers, identify their needs, and design and produce what exactly they need for their farm. That's on one side. But you know, it's not enough to just sell fertilizer to people. You want to see them grow from the beginning to the end.
When we do that, then you will see the real benefit of using fertilizer in farming. You know, I mean, instead of you to have 2 tons per hectare in terms of yield, you end up having 6 to 8 tons. And that means, you know, agriculture will actually open up. Farmers will realize that, yes, they can make quite a lot of money. It is not a poor man's business anymore.
This is the control room of the plant. It houses the distribution control system of the 4 units of the plant: utilities, ammonia, urea and bagging. These 4 units oversee the production process. These white balls, happily moving along, are at 99.8% purity level of urea. The urea fertilizer is now ready. The landscape of Nigeria will definitely not look the same in years to come. From Abuja to Lagos, this bagging across the length and breadth of the country, the agricultural potential of Nigeria, the 1-ton line will be unlocked, and the export storage unit. This automated bagging unit is an endless stream of motion. Bags are loaded and they're on their way to some incredibly happy customers. It is equally a busy day at the jetty, where the fertilizer is being loaded for export. This vessel is a 30,000-ton capacity ship, and it will soon be on its way to Mexico.
Need I say more? As the documentary played itself out, I saw the face of our chief host governor, whose heart is full of joy today because there are several things for which commissioning is taking place in his area of jurisdiction. His Excellency Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is our host governor today, and it's good to see him join us for this historic event. That documentary tells you all you need to know, but there's nothing more than going on tour when the time comes to go and see for yourself. There is going to be knowledge transfer, there's job opportunity, capacity building, skills development, and entrepreneurship development. And let me invite a man who is truly excited to see this project unravel. That person is the Honorable Minister of Trade, Industry and Investment, Otumba Ni Adebayo. Please encourage him as he comes along. Let me put a note of clarity that Mr. President has just so much to do today, so we'll keep our interventions very short. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, the President and the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, Your Excellency, the Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives, Your Excellency, State Governors, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, my colleagues, members of the Federal Executive Council, all protocols respectfully observed. It gives me great pleasure to be here at this landmark event. This project is one that has been years in the making, the creation of Africa's largest granulated urea fertilizer complex. This is a great achievement, not just for the Dangote Group, but for Nigeria as a country. Alhaji Aliko Dangote is a man that has been commended for so much, both in Africa and globally. The thing that I admire most about him is his ability to dream big and make those dreams come to fruition. This fertilizer complex is just one part of the Dangote refinery project, but this part alone offers unquantifiable value to Nigeria's economy. He is an industrial visionary, and I applaud him for the impact that he has made in our country. Current world events have made this a challenging period for Nigerians. This administration is working tirelessly to ensure that no Nigerian goes hungry or is unable to access affordable food items. Access to good quality fertilizer is pivotal to ensuring that our food security objectives are met. I am aware that this facility has the potential to produce 3 million metric tons per annum of urea fertilizer in phase 1 alone. This will go a long way in bridging the current fertilizer gap and improving soil and farm yields. One of the federal government's key ambitions is for Nigeria to be both self-sufficient in food production and also to be a net exporter of food and value-added products. The Dangote fertilizer plant goes a long way in realizing this vision, not just for Nigeria, but for the entire continent. Dangote fertilizer has the potential to meet not just Nigeria's needs, but at its current capacity, it will earn the country millions of dollars from its exports. It will also help with the unemployment problem our country is currently faced with. Since the advent of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, cross-border trade has become more attractive. The African Continental Free Trade Area has the capacity to boost intra-African trade and is expected to deliver an integrated continental market consisting of 1.3 billion consumers with an aggregate GDP of $3.4 trillion United States dollars. As the largest economy in Africa, Nigeria has the potential to greatly increase its trading volumes, production capacity, and generation of foreign investments. The Dangote Group have shown they are ready to invest in this space, and I encourage other companies to follow their lead. When the Dangote Group made the strategic decision to locate this fertilizer complex and the larger integrated refinery project here in the Lekki Free Trade Zone, it did more than just create opportunities for the company's staff and those working along its product value chains. This project has brought with it much needed development. More and more people are moving into the Lekki axis. Homes are being built, small and medium businesses are being started, and companies are exploring the possibility of also locating their enterprises in free trade zones. The federal government, under the leadership of our President, President Muhammadu Buhari, will continue to give much needed incentives to investors to encourage them to invest in Nigeria. The government will also continue to endeavor to provide an enabling environment for the ease of doing business. I would like at this point to commend our Nigerian businessmen who have picked the gauntlet and have taken up the opportunities created for them by the President Muhammadu Buhari administration to invest in the Nigerian economy. Once again, I congratulate Alhaji Aliko Dangote and the entire Dangote Group for the massive investment in this laudable project, and I look forward to returning here in the very near future for the commissioning of the oil refinery and the petrochemical project. I thank you, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
The Minister of Trade, Industry and Investment, Otumbani Adebayo, recapping the importance of this project for investment in the climate of Nigeria and in the soils of Nigeria and in the general ambience of this country. Permit me at this time to invite a man under whose belt agriculture resides in the Federal Executive Council. Your Excellency, sir, he is the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Muhammad Mahmoud Abubakar. It's a long walk. Help him to get here. Thank you.
Your Excellency, President Muhammad Buhari, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellency, the Senate President, Your Excellency, Right Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, Excellencies, State Governors, the Deputy Secretary General of United Nations, Your Excellency, permit me to stand on the existing protocol. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure for me to be part of this historic launching of the 3 million metric tons urea plant constructed by the Dangote Group. The plant, which was built for $2.5 billion, is a major milestone in the agricultural policy reforms of the administration of President Muhammad Buhari. For Nigeria, the agricultural sector is one of the key drivers of the economy, and a strong and vibrant agricultural sector is needed to ensure job creation, wealth augmentation, and the production of adequate food for the teeming population of 200 million Nigerians. Consequently, in the ministry, we are building a strong and vibrant agricultural sector through several initiatives. The programs focus on the development of an agriculture-based private business model through a food value chain approach, one involving full technology package transfer that will cover all stages, from agricultural production, integration, processing, and marketing. We are supporting farmers vigorously, considering that they are the feeders of this country. In Nigeria, we are facing serious challenge of low and insufficient fertilizer use by farmers, which was part of the hindering and the low productivity of agricultural output. With this plant, I believe this will be a game changer for this problem of fertilizer not being sufficient. I therefore congratulate Alhaji Aliko Dangote and the entire Dangote Group for what they have done to this country and beyond. Let me also emphasize that we have commenced the implementation of National Fertilizer Quality Control 2019 Act. We are currently registering all fertilizer players of all categories. After issuing the permit and certificate, we believe that this will enhance keeping track of the producers, exporters, sellers, and distributors, and to make sure that the quality of the fertilizer needed for the farmers of this country is being kept track of. Let me therefore use this medium to call on all the players to register with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture. Once again, let me congratulate Alhaji Aliko Dangote and Nigeria as well. Thank you.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, farmers are the builders of this country. Another round of applause for the Minister of Agriculture. I'd like at this time to bring a man up to the podium who has been very busy joining the Honorable Minister of Agriculture to promote agriculture in Nigeria in his establishment. And this man, because of putting agriculture in the front of the agenda of his institution, he has staff who are now referred to as cotton, groundnut, rice, the staff who are responsible for pushing these agricultural products. Your Excellency, permit me to bring up to the podium the Governor of the Central Bank, Mr. Godwin Emefiele.
Your Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari. Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, Dr. Ahmed Lawan, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. Your Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, all other governors that are here present this morning, Your Excellency, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Mrs. Amina Mohammed, our former governors here present, but please permit me to recognize Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Aremo Olusegun Oshoba. Captains of industry, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my pleasure to be here this morning at the commissioning of this 3 million tons per annum fertilizer plant. I am delighted, extremely elated indeed, that a Nigerian in the person of Alhaji Aliko Dangote has taken not just this great initiative of helping to solve our perennial petrochemical products import problem, including fertilizer, but has also taken advantage of the emerging huge market opportunity presented by recent global developments. Mr. President, sir, in the early days of my stewardship as the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and under your able leadership, you made your vision for our country very clear to me. This vision was wrapped around the broad theme of self-introspection for local resources and self-sufficiency in local consumption. In summary, Your Excellency, you told me that you would like to see urgent support for our farmers, small businesses, and indeed some of our large manufacturers, so as to grow and diversify the nation's economic base. Your Excellency wanted to see a Nigeria that produced what it consumed and reduced foreign exchange expenditure on agricultural imports. Given our unflinching belief in your vision, Your Excellency, we immediately set out to work at the Central Bank of Nigeria. We thoroughly studied, deeply assimilated, and enthusiastically implemented this vision from day one of your administration. It is based on the many nights and days of painstaking work in pursuit of this vision that today's ceremony is emotional to us at the Central Bank of Nigeria. Indeed, Your Excellency, sir, the completion of this plant is a stellar example of the realization of your vision, and you do deserve a round of applause, sir. It is only fitting, therefore, that this plant is being commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari himself, the original owner and protector of this vision. For your unparalleled leadership and timely vision, and on behalf of my colleagues, we say a heartfelt thank you to you. Your Excellency, to avoid losing momentum and backtracking on these gains, we will continue to work hard to protect your legacy and ensure that posterity remembers you for all you have done for our country. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me stress that this fertilizer plant is timely when one considers recent developments in the global market, where prices of wheat, fertilizer, and crude oil spiked by over 30% following the Russia-Ukraine war. In addition to the lessons we learned from the protectionist actions of countries during the early days of COVID-19, this investment is again a glaring testament to the foresight and tireless efforts of Mr. President in encouraging domestic production of goods that can be produced in Nigeria, especially in agriculture. This would not only help to enable greater productivity of our agricultural sector, but would also help in insulating our Nigerian farmers from depending on imported fertilizer. Prior to Mr. President assuming office in 2015, Nigeria imported virtually all its fertilizer products to support its agricultural sector. In response to this situation, Mr. President inaugurated the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative chaired by the Governor of Jigawa State, Governor Badaru, and chaired with us with the result to resolve this perennial fertilizer shortage problem. I'm delighted to note that their work and the continued support of Mr. President has resulted in a significant increase in our nation's blending capacity from 7 plants in 2015 to over 48 active fertilizer blending plants today. Indeed, during the past 5 years, over 35 million bags of blended fertilizer has been produced in Nigeria. Consequently, our import bill on fertilizer has not only declined significantly, but we are also witnessing rising investment in the fertilizer industry, such as the one being commissioned today by the Dangote Group. Today, Nigeria is self-sufficient in the production of urea, and we are also leading in the production of urea in the African continent. There is no doubt that improving access to fertilizer will contribute to significant improvements in productivity of our local farmers, but probably, more importantly, it will enhance our nation's drive to improve food security and ensure we consume what we produce in Nigeria, thereby fulfilling another key promise and vision of this administration. Mr. President, with your clear leadership and persistent guidance, the agricultural sector has increased its performance and contribution to growth. The last GDP report by the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics indicated that the agricultural sector accounted for about 27% of the growth, a testament to the President's support to this sector. Ladies and gentlemen, this Dangote fertilizer plant, with an installed capacity of over 3 million tons per annum, is a very significant feat in the diversification agenda of this administration. This is because it will help to increase the value chain in the petrochemical and allied sector, create jobs for our youths, and boost agricultural productivity. Mr. President, time permitting, we request you to take a tour of not only this fertilizer plant, but also the Dangote refinery and petrochemical plant, which altogether is an investment of over $17.5 billion. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank Alhaji Aliko Dangote, as well as the board and management of the Dangote Group, for this gigantic project meant to save Nigeria from the stress of importing foreign exchange for fertilizer. I want to assure you, Your Excellency, that the Central Bank of Nigeria will continue to provide not just the conducive environment required to thrive, but providing willing investors in the fertilizer and other industries the necessary support, both Naira and foreign currency needed to import the equipment to support similar investments. Let me also thank the Governor and the landlord of Lagos State, Mr. Jide Sanwo-Olu, for providing the enabling environment for this project and other businesses to thrive in Lagos. Finally, I want to thank Mr. President for the enormous support and encouragement given to the private sector in Nigeria that is helping them to contribute immensely to the growth of the economy. It is my hope that these foundations that you laid will become the permanent bedrock upon which we can continue to create an equitable and thriving economy for the good of our people in Nigeria. I thank you most sincerely for your attention.
Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, celebrates the strides they've made at the Central Bank in agriculture as he makes his way to his seat. Let's give him a round of applause. Your Excellency, Mr. President, I'd like to crave your indulgence that as we proceed to receive your keynote, which is shortly, there would be a photo op as soon as you finish before the national anthem goes, and this would be inviting only those in the front row for the photograph. Only those in the front row in the photograph with Mr. President before he departs for the ribbon cutting. I would also be making announcements of those who would go with Mr. President on the bus for the tour, and also those who would be going with Mr. President to cut the ribbon. I'd like to say here that the rest of us will be seated in this room. There are other programs that will be going on for us, and our tour will take place subsequently. In the meantime, Lagos is abuzz with entrepreneurship, industry, and quick wit. The man who sits at the helm of affairs of the nation's most populous state, the nation's commercial and economic nerve center. Please help me welcome our host governor, His Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Lagos State Governor.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellency, the Senate President, Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker, my brother governors that are here, past and present, especially Asiwaju, who I will talk about very shortly, the Deputy Secretary General of United Nations, our pride to New York, Mrs. Amina Mohammed. I like the diversity, that is not all male, and we're still doing the IWS thing for you. Let me also acknowledge the man that we're all here for, the President of Dangote Industries, Alhaji Aliko Dangote. Let me also acknowledge, Mr. President, the host community, the traditional rulers of the host community that are here, also in large numbers, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. President, in the last 9 months, you've been to Lagos 3 times. Let me once again welcome you to Lagos. Let me welcome you to the Center of Excellence. Let me welcome you to the state of aquatic splendor. And you can see the aquatic when we're flying on a helicopter. But let me welcome you to the largest economy and to the largest population in Africa. More importantly, let me welcome you to the largest fertilizer, urea fertilizer in Africa as well, the Dangote refinery. Mr. President, like I said, you've had opportunity to come and commission several projects: security with the Nigerian Navy, security for the Nigerian police force, and of course, the standard rail line projects, which are some of the things that we're truly, really happy that you have come to Lagos to do. Today, we're here to hand over and to commission the biggest fertilizer plant in the whole of Africa. Just last week, you and I, when I was with you in the UK, we discussed some of the things that you said you wanted to leave behind. How are we treating youth unemployment? How are we ensuring that we can produce what we need to hit? And how are we ensuring that indeed our youth, we can give them the rightful employment? This was just a week ago. Mr. President, this is a testament of some of the concerns that you have last week when you and I were discussing. And I did mention to you that you'll be invited to Lagos in another 2 months to commission the largest rice mill in the country as well. But it's not just that we're commissioning the rice mill, it's that the fertilizer and urea that is coming out of the Dangote fertilizer here will be utilized by the farmers that you are always concerned about, by the youth that you want us to give employment to. And they will be utilizing the fertilizers, and they will be utilizing the rice mill that we will be commissioning very, very soon. Mr. President, you also mentioned to me while we're on our way here that, oh my God, how was it able to do it? How was Mr. Alhaji Aliko Dangote able to put this feat? And I said to you that it is the power, the resilience, the Nigerian in him that kept on driving him on. And that I know that several times he had wanted to stop, and something in him continued to tell him to trudge on. It's the audacity of the size of this project is amazing, even when you look at it, you know, high above in an helicopter. And it's here we want to acknowledge and want to thank him so very much. But the story of Dangote Fertilizer and Refinery will be incomplete if we don't put the history to proper perspective. The idea around having a free zone in the Bejuleki area was conceived by our leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I was with him in 2003, 2004, when we took a trip to China and we're trying to conceive a free zone. And today here, this free zone is not only home to the largest fertilizer in Africa, but will certainly be home to the largest refinery, a single refinery in the entire world, you know, come later in this year. And so we're indeed very, very excited that our host community continues to remain home to all of these big projects. We're indeed excited that peace, safety, and security in this part of the country continues to remain something that's critical to you, but something that's also critical to us as a government. And so on behalf of the community, the very, very large community of Ibejuleki, the millions of direct and indirect jobs that this complex will be providing, I want to thank Alhaji Aliko Dangote. He could have made a different choice about his wealth. He could have made a different decision about what God has given to him. But he took the audacity and said that this is what I want to be remembered for. For me, it's how do we replicate several Aliko Dangote in our midst? How do we ensure that indeed we can put other Aliko Dangotes in other parts of this country, and they can indeed domesticate all of these great initiatives to you? Alhaji Aliko, you do not need any further introduction. You are a son of the soil. You are an indigene of Ibejuleki, and there's nothing. Because Mr. President told me and I should hold you. I said you ain't going anywhere. You are here with us, and the community is happy to have you. So the story is not about him today. It's about all of us. How many others do we want to build? Lagos is home and is ready. Lagos is home and is ready. We have sufficient land for you. Don't think that it's only Kebbi and Kaduna and Niger that has land. We have sufficient land for you to absorb all of your other investment that you might be thinking about. And finally, it's truly really to thank all of you. I should like to thank you for the vision, to say that indeed what this whole neighborhood is about, it's about ensuring that we can double and we can quadruple the GDP of our country, that we can provide jobs and opportunity for the teeming youths that we have, and we can give them a hope that Mr. President continues to talk about. Mr. President, I want to thank you again for creating the time to be here today. We will be inviting you again in another 2 months to come in and commission the very first again in our community. And finally, to thank you for giving us your other executive order 7 on the road that we'll be doing, you know, the major road out of this place. Alhaji forgot to mention it because we've been working on this road for a long time, and you've given us the approval for it. And so we will be doing the road here, and the state government also will be asking you to come and commission the 18.7 kilometer, the 6-lane, you know, rigid pavement that we have on the other side of it, such that the experience that we're having in Apapa will certainly not be the part of experience that will be happening here. We're ready for business. Lagos is open for future investment. Thank you all very much for coming. Thank you.
Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Governor of Lagos State, in a very proud moment where, when I asked someone this morning, Your Excellency, I said there's no relation of Alhaji Aliko Dangote here. And he has invested so much in a state that is not even his state. And that is the spirit of one Nigeria that we seek. And when His Excellency the Governor said, the man, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, is an indigene of Lagos State, I saw the traditional rulers raise their horse tail in affirmation. I'd like to congratulate Alhaji Aliko Dangote as we await the Yoruba name that he's going to take in the middle of his name shortly. And while that is being said and done, I'd like to remind us that the photo opportunity after His Excellency Mr. President's speech involves only those in the front row and also the daughters of Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Hajia Halima and Hajia Maria, will also be joining in the photographs. Let me also mention that Mr. President will deliver his speech here, and after the photo opportunity, he will make his way out to cut the ribbon, therefore commissioning. And once that is done, he's going to board the bus to go on tour of the fertilizer plant and the Dangote refinery. Here are the names of those who would make it on the bus with Mr. President. Governors, ministers, Her Excellency, the Deputy UN Secretary General, General Manager, the Group Managing Director of NNPC, the Governor of Central Bank, the Senate President, and Right Honorable Speaker. In that respect, I want to believe also that with this tour that we are having, we also have our host governor involved in this tour. Now, having said that, I'd like at this point to ask you to join me in a warm Lagos welcome. It is my honor and singular privilege to invite His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari for his keynote address, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Please sit down. Thank you. The Senate President and Speaker, House of Representatives, Your Excellency the Governor of Lagos State, and his colleagues, members of the National Assembly, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, members of the diplomatic community, honorable ministers, Chief Executive Officer of Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, senior government officials, traditional rulers, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to commission this new Dangote fertilizer plant, which has installed capacity of 3 million metric tons of urea per annum. That makes it the second largest of such plants in the world. This fertilizer plant is expected to further advance our administration drive towards achieving self-sufficiency in food production in the country. I commend the Chairman, Board and Management of Dangote Industries Limited for their business initiative in capitalizing and building this plant to reduce our dependence on importation of fertilizer, create jobs on a massive scale, increase the inflow of foreign exchange, and accelerate economic growth. This new plant is a renewed testament to the widely acknowledged patriotism of Aliko Dangote and the leadership of Dangote Industries Limited. It also demonstrates their commitment to the socio-economic development of our country and the well-being of our people. I am confident that the investment in this plant will replicate the group's earlier exploits in the cement sector, where Dangote Cement holds the enviable record as our continent's largest cement producer, with footprints in 10 other African countries. The group's investment in integrated cement plants, spanning the value chain from quarry to bagging, has effectively ended Nigeria's dependence on important cement products. Along with the several other subsidiaries, Dangote Industries Limited has created thousands of jobs across Nigeria. It is the second biggest employer of labor in this country after the federal government. This is very pleasing because job creation by private sector operators is vital to security as it takes thousands of youth off the street. The nation also stands to gain extensively in earnings of foreign exchange from the excess production of and export from the plant. I am informed that we have already started exporting to other countries, including the United States, India, and Brazil. The coming upstream of the plant is creating huge opportunities in the areas of job creation, trade, warehousing, transport, and logistics. This will create significant wealth, reduce poverty, and help in securing the future of our nation. In the agricultural sector, another focal point of our economic policy, we expect a boom as fertilizer is now readily available in greater quantities and better quality. Many Nigerians who hitherto practice subsistence farming because of unavailability of necessary inputs can now take up agriculture as a business. We expect a rise of new breed of agropreneurs who will add value to farming and make the nation self-sufficient in food production. Let me assure all Nigerians that our government is focused on providing an enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. We will continue to improve on infrastructure, power, and security, and enact relevant laws and regulations that will drive investments in the economy. Furthermore, we are partnering with the private sector through a tax credit scheme in the rehabilitation of roads across Nigeria under the Presidential Order Number 7. As we know, good roads contribute to easy movement of goods and services across the nation, thus reducing the cost of doing business and improving productivity. We are also rehabilitating our railway lines and building new ones to lessen the burden on our roads and create more effective multimodal transportation networks. As we look to the future endeavors of Dangote Group, it will be my pleasure to inspect the 650,000 barrels per day petroleum refinery and 900,000 tons per annum polypropylene plant sited within the Dangote Free Trade Complex. I look forward to coming back to inaugurate the refinery and petrochemical plant later in the year. Projects of this magnitude and complexity require the support and collaboration of many persons and organizations. I am grateful to all of them. In particular, I would like to commend the Central Bank of Nigeria, the development finance institutions, and the local and foreign commercial banks that have supported the investor to make these projects a reality. I highly commend Alhaji Aliko Dangote for helping to rebrand Nigeria through his mega investments across Africa. He has fueled job-led growth and transformation of several African economist. I am proud of his contribution to affirming Nigeria's leadership status in the continent, and I wish him many more successes in the future. Thank you all, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Your Excellency, I'd like to crave your indulgence, sir, to return to your seat so that the picture arrangement will be made before you depart. Your Excellency, Mr. President, please return to your seat, sir. Thank you very much. You may be seated. The podium will be removed. The photograph will be, when the time comes, only the first row, and it will involve also Hajia Maria and Hajia Halima. I'd like to quickly make the announcement for the buses again. There have been some corrections. The bus that Mr. President is going to be inside will contain the Governor of Lagos. Where is Hajia Halima and Hajia Maria? The bus with Mr. President will have the Governor of Lagos State in it, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, the Senate President and the Speaker. The bus that is conveying Mr. President will have the Governor of Lagos, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Senate President and Speaker. I'd like the partners of Hajia Maria and Hajia Halima to join this photograph, please. And I would also like to ask, and Fatima's husband, I'd also like to ask the brothers of Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Abdu, Sayya, and Inasa to also join. After this photograph, the governors who are present will join along with the ministers in the House. After this photograph, the governors will join along with the ministers in the House. This is the first photograph, and I would like everyone else to fall out of these photographs except Hajia Maria and Hajia Halima, and then the governors can please join. And the ministers, please join. Please, the governor of the central bank. The second bus will be carrying governors, and it will be led by Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. The second bus, which will be following the president's bus. And then the third bus will take ministers, the United Nations Deputy Secretary General, Hajia Halima and Hajia Maria. I'll say that again. The bus conveying Mr. President will have the Governor of Lagos, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Senate President and Speaker. The second bus, led by Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, will be carrying all the governors as well as the central bank governor. And the third bus will be carrying ministers, UN Deputy Secretary General Hajia Halima and Hajia Maria. Thank you very much. The photograph is over. I'd like to invite media now to please take the national anthem as Mr. President will depart the room for the cutting of the ribbon. Please rise. Only a select group of people will be going with Mr. President for the cutting of the tape. The rest of us will remain in this room. The rest of us will remain seated because we're going to have an audio-visual information that will take place in a short while. The rest of us should please remain seated. Thank you very much. At this point, I'd like to call. The cutting of that tape will be shown by media here, so we will all get to see it. And after the ribbon has been cut, I'm going to be inviting Mr. Gisipe, the Chief Operating Officer of Dangote Refinery and Petrochemicals, to come and address us in a short while. The rest of us should please settle down so we can see the photographs as they appear. The rest of us should please settle down. Thank you very much. I'd like to encourage us to please settle down. There's lunch, and Alhaji Aliko Dangote will be returning to join us for the tour of the fertilizer plant and the petrochemical and refinery plant. Please, it is expected that we all join to go and see those plants. So please sit for a while. I'm going to invite Mr. Gisipe, after the ribbon has been cut, for him to come forward and explain the refinery and the petrochemical complex to us. And once the ribbon has been cut, once it's put out there for you to see, we'll ask the Chief Operating Officer to come and do the needful. If we will settle down for a little bit, Alhaji Aliko Dangote will return to join us. And he has asked that we specifically ask you to be patient while he does the needful. He will be coming back to join us, and he'll be very happy to see you all back here. So while that is going on, please settle down. In a short while, I'll be calling on Mr. Gisipe, who is the Chief Operating Officer for Dangote Refinery and Petrochemicals, and he'll be coming up here to speak to us in a short while. Please keep your eye on the media so we can all benefit from watching what happens out there in a short while. Thank you very much. There are 20 buses for the tour for those who want to go and see. If you give us a couple of minutes, you will be joining those buses to go on tour of the facility. Not now. Mr. President is about now departing. We wait a bit, and then the rest of us can go.
An aerial view of the $2.5 billion Dangote fertilizer plant. Well, it's been a long time coming, this particular project, set to be actually the largest granulated urea fertilizer complex. Well, about 2013, there was an agreement signed between the company and investors. So about a decade in the works, and today it is a reality. President Muhammadu Buhari is in Lagos. Earlier on gave his speech, and afterwards went on to inaugurate and unveil the plaque for this $2.5 billion Dangote fertilizer plant. The president will also do a factory tour of the Dangote fertilizer plant, inspection tour of the 650,000 barrel per day oil refinery and the 900,000 polypropylene plant, as well as the Lekki Deep Seaport. As you can see, it's magnificent. It really sits on hectares of land. I earlier on saw that this takes over 1,000 football pitches. Just imagine the sheer size of this fertilizer plant. In terms of the output, it is said that this plant is meant to churn out 3 million metric tons per annum of urea fertilizer in phase 1. And it's not just for Nigeria, it's meant to be exported. In fact, the president confirmed that the company has exported to the United States, Brazil, and India. So clearly, this is a huge one. And just to put this in proper context, Nigeria is estimated to need about 5 to 7 million metric tons per annum of fertilizer. And with the current level of fertilizer consumption in the country, which is 1.5 million metric tons, this is clearly more than enough to meet that particular need. A decade in the making, the sheer size is magnificent, is mind-blowing, and clearly it's meant to attract a lot of investment, not just for the area, not just for Nigeria, but for Africa at large. And when you think about the Africa Free Trade Area Agreement, and think about the implications for the economy of Nigeria, then this is clearly good news. The president actually came into Lagos at exactly 10 a.m. today. He's been in Lagos now 3 times the past 9 months. Last time he was in Lagos was last year. He has quite an itinerary in Lagos, and this is the very first of it. He's also meant to commission some other projects, particularly at the airport. But right now, the president and other dignitaries, including governors, ministers, are currently taking a tour of this huge facility. I mean, as you can see from the aerial view, it's a huge one, and I imagine how long it will take to actually go through this facility. Just to remind you that this is a Dangote fertilizer plant, Africa's largest granulated urea fertilizer complex, occupies 500 hectares of land in Lekki Free Trade Zone here in Lagos, Nigeria. It was built at a cost of $2.5 billion, expected to produce 3 million metric tons per annum. Well, this is clearly a landmark event. It's been a long time coming. These are the kinds of images you'd love to see coming out of Nigeria to indeed take its place, its pride of place in the Committee of Nations. This is meant to take care of the needs, the fertilizer needs of other countries. And just to take you back to previous events earlier in the day, we've had the governor of the central bank speak, the minister for trade, and there you see the motorcade of the president going through the plans just to get a sense of what exactly this project is all about. It's a huge one, sitting on 500 hectares of land. That's over 1,000 football fields. Just imagine the sheer size of all of this. So we've had the Minister of Trade speak on this. We had the Minister of Agriculture, because this is especially important to food production in Nigeria, a nation of over 200 million people, according to estimates. So you imagine just what this will do to food production in Nigeria. And it said that Dangote Fertilizer actually works with farmers associations, corporate farms, NPK blenders, non-governmental organizations and development partners, as well as state government all over Nigeria to get a sustainable approach to improve soil and farm yields. If there's anything that keeps a nation running, it will be food production, clearly, and this is meant to impact a lot on food production. Make Nigeria, not just Nigeria, Africa at large, self-sufficient in food production and also a net exporter of food to the world. So first with Nigeria, Africa, and of course, indeed, to the world. Imagine the foreign exchange that will come as a result of this. The company is already exporting the fertilizer. But back to the event of the day, the governor of Lagos also spoke largely about this project, how it came to fruition, and in fact invited other investors to come into Lagos. I mean, this is possible in Lagos, so others can come. That's the bus conveying, I believe, the president and some other dignitaries, and then the other bus as other governors and ministers in it.
This is not yet the commissioning of the Dangote refinery, the 650,000 barrels of crude refinery capacity daily. This is just one of the machineries or one of the facilities at the Dangote complex in or at the Lagos Free Zone area. So it comprises of the Dangote refinery, the 650,000 daily refining capacity, which can take care of Nigeria's capacity in terms of refined product. It has the Dangote petrochemical and now the Dangote fertilizer, all in one complex. Let me help you make a sense of what we are talking about in terms of capacity and in terms of size. We are talking about over 350 hectares of land here, acquired, prepared, made ready, set ready for this part of the project,
which is delivering the fertilizer today. The Dangote fertilizer plant is Africa's largest granulated urea fertilizer complex. It is said to be the biggest in Africa and the second biggest in the world. Happening here, homegrown, home-trained, home put together, and home-driven by an indigenous business mogul known as Africa's biggest and richest man, I should say, from Nigeria to the world. The Dangote refinery also, I mean, in terms of estimations and in terms of what capacity Nigeria really requires to make you get a sense again as regards the capacity of what this plant does. The annual consumption rate for fertilizer for farmers in Nigeria is put between 5 to 7 million metric tons per annum, with the consumption level in the country, which is, I mean, Nigeria is expected to need that, but the consumption level so far is about 1.5 million metric tons. The Dangote fertilizer plant here today that has been commissioned here with distinguished industrialists, distinguished members of the diplomatic corps, the distinguished members of the industry capacity that you can bring to bear as far as Nigeria's growth and development is concerned. The president is leading all of that charge today. And what more can be more interesting and more capacity-driven than to have the president commission this gargantuan complex that promises is already employing thousands in terms of direct labor and thousands in indirect labor. Just to also mention that this urea fertilizer plant is the answer to what the farmers have been asking for in terms of yields, in terms of, I mean, the slogan
I've been asked to announce that we'll go to lunch now. And I'm going,
all
so
of
I'd like you to please
the
go
fraud
to the lunch.
Around the fertilizer distribution and all of that and availability. All that will be history as far as what has happened here is concerned, because fertilizer from this plant, from Ibejuleki here in Lagos to all parts of the country. Should I also mention that the Dangote and its partners have already strategically positioned a lot of distribution network that allows this fertilizer to penetrate and to deepen its penetration to where they are needed. Earlier you listened and you heard the governor of Lagos State say that the rice mill that the state is facilitating is already being given a boost by this fertilizer, because it's just a matter of from one end take it to the other end in terms of where it is needed. Power to the farmers is what the slogan here today is, and it's already up and running. At some point in this broadcast, we'll be showing you what the night features of this place looks like. Beautiful sights to see. The machines are up and running. When we came in here early mornings from the midnight, setting up our equipment and all of that, wonderful scenery to behold as far as the plant here is concerned. The steam lights are on, the turbines are on, the machines are grinding. The gas feedstock, earlier if you remember, also that Dangote and its management team signed a gas purchase, gas aggregation agreement with the NNPC earlier sometime in February of this year in Abuja on the sidelines of the Nigeria International Energy Summit. And that is to make sure that over the next 3 years there will be an uninterrupted supply of gas, which is the feedstock for fertilizer plants. Everything seemed to be ready from scratch, from end to end, encrypted in such manner that this fertilizer plant will continue to be a game changer for the nation. $2.5 billion investment here. It's no mean feat. This is what it is. We have to bring you more information as far as this is concerned. Mr. President is starting right now at this point this facility to ensure that what he has been told are not just mere PowerPoint presentation. These are real, from PowerPoint presentation when it all started to action points. That's what we are experiencing here today. Mr. President is proud. He's coming here very strongly, and he's proud to be associated with this project, Project Nigeria, Project Fertilizer, Project Urea Fertilizer plant here in Ibejuleki.
Well, the president has now unveiled the plaque of a $2.5 billion Dangote fertilizer plant. Earlier on, my colleague Olu Phillips, who's on the ground, was given an account, essentially, of what's going on here, the capacity, and all of that. And there you see the dignitaries present, some of the dignitaries present, the Minister of Petroleum Resources, former governor of Lagos State, as well as members of the National Assembly. Like I said, the Minister of State for Health as well. Quite a big day, really. I mean, this event has pulled all the heavyweights in the country, from the president to governors to the Senate president, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, ministers as well. We've seen traditional rulers as well. Earlier on, I cited the Oni of Ife. So it's a big one, not just for Nigeria, but for Africa. Because when you think about the sheer size, the sheer capacity of the Dangote fertilizer plant, talking 3 million metric tons per annum of urea fertilizer. That's in phase 1. Just crunch the figures, see how this will serve not just Nigeria, Africa, but the world at large. So this is indeed a big one. But this area does not just house the Dangote fertilizer plant. It also houses the 650,000 barrel per day oil refinery and 900,000 polypropylene plant, and also the Lekki Deep Sea Port. So it's essentially a chain. There you see the president emerging from a tour of the plant. He earlier on unveiled the plant, and now he's heading to, I believe, the bus. It's hard to tell, but the president is essentially taking a tour still. He is flanked just behind him. You could see the Speaker of the House of Representatives. The man of the moment is also there, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, the governor of Lagos State, who is proudly owning this. I mean, he's host to this project. He's actually encouraged Alhaji Dangote and other investors to come, saying that there's a lot of land in Lagos for investors who want to come. And I imagine that they're listening, and the incentives should be there as well to encourage investment in Lagos. This is a big one, and it's worth celebrating, I should say. It's been a long time coming, since 2013 when that agreement was signed. Imagine the sheer size of this project. And I recall the governor of Lagos State saying earlier on, when he was with the president was asking, how did he achieve this? I mean, if you see this from the aerial view, you understand just how big this project is, sitting on 500 hectares of land. That's over 1,000 football pitches. But this is just one of the various projects ongoing in this particular location. Before the end of the year, it's expected that the Dangote refinery will also be up. And there you see the buses departing the location, the venue of the tour. I believe they're heading back or heading away, depending on the itinerary. By the way, the president's itinerary is packed in Lagos today. He's also meant to commission the international terminal, the newly built international terminal of the Murtala Mohammed Airport here in Lagos today. And it's one of the 5 being built in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Kano, and Enugu. So it's a full lineup for the president this morning. He arrived in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, at exactly 10 a.m. That was when the jet landed in Lagos. So looks like a big day for Lagosians, for Nigerians as well. There's been a lot of talk about traffic diversion. So it's important to understand where traffic will be diverted so Lagosians can take heed. But we're still live at the Dangote fertilizer plant, a $2.5 billion project. Had to take the president to essentially unveil the plaque inaugurating this big project.
Anywhere that you go to, running to you. been running to you, running, running, running to you. Anywhere that you go to.
When I'm looking for trouble, it's cause I know that I got you. Wanting more best everybody, oh oh. And it's because of your kung fu. And anytime that I'm out of control, you hold me down. You never, never let go. Yeah, my baby boo. See all the battles you'll be fighting, and I'll be right there with you. I may be small, but I'm mighty, and I go running for you. And anybody ways I've been here, so be you pull it, I'll be around. And if I ever need saving, I'll be running to you.
Running, running, running to you. I'll be running to you. Running, running, running to you. Anywhere that you go to. Running, running, running to you. I'll be running to you. Running, running, running to you. Anywhere that you go to. You don't need to worry. Anything you want, anytime you call me, baby, I go answer.
Baby, you make them run away.
And if you want me coming to you, I go come to you.
Oh, you wanna kiss me, baby, don't kiss me.
Tell me what you want, baby, say I'm not in my If they wanna be the Judas, wanna be the Pharaoh. I tell your mama, say I want marry your daughter. She tell me, say she go for me.
Well, it's not called the largest granulated urea fertilizer plant in Africa for nothing. Sitting on 500 hectares of land, the Dangote fertilizer plant was built at a cost of $2.5 billion. It was established to produce 3 million metric tons per annum in phase 1. And I said earlier, just to put this in context, Nigeria is estimated to need about 5 to 7 million metric tons per annum. With the current level of fertilizer consumption in the country, we're at 1.5 million metric tons. So having 3 million metric tons means that, well, we can meet that and even export to other countries, earning forex and the rest. So it's a big one, not just for the nation, but for the continent at large.
She I want to the Mario, want to carry go. Oh my God, please don't tell me no, 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 no. If you tell me no, I go run away. I told her love is a beautiful thing. She say I don't want it, got no meaning to me. If you want my baby, oh, you can do like David, oh, 30 billion, you must give it to me. And I said, don't do like that.
Well, you're still looking at images from the Dangote fertilizer plant. There's also the Dangote oil refinery and the polypropylene plant. Quite a mouthful. Well, President Buhari earlier on unveiled the plaque, and he's currently touring the Lekki Free Trade Zone area. It's a large project, and the potential for this in terms of business, in terms of investment, is going to be huge for Nigeria, the sub-region, and Africa at large. So the president is currently touring the Lekki Free Trade Zone. As I said earlier, the president has quite an itinerary here in Lagos today. After this, is meant to head over to the Murtala Mohammed Airport to launch or commission the newly built international terminal of the Murtala Mohammed Airport here in Lagos. It's actually another big project because this new Lagos International Terminal has the capacity to process 14 million passengers per annum. And it is built on a landmass of approximately 56,000 square meters, has 66 check-in counters. But not to worry, we're going to bring you a live coverage of that one as well. So when the president is done touring the Lekki Free Trade Zone, he's expected to move onto the Murtala Mohammed Airport to launch the newly built terminal.